Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the developer chat for August 14th, 2019 here at Privateer Press. Tony, I want to appreciate that you started writing the date on the whiteboard so that I didn't have to look. It's just right there.
It's also on the screen right there.
For those of you joining us, today what we're going to talk about is now that Riot Quest pre-released at Gen Con and it's coming out in stores next week, a lot of people we've talked about the core box models, and we've even played a game with them on one of the weekly rumbles, monthly rumbles. What we're going to talk about is the other Wave 1 models that were pre-released at Gen Con, so you know it's coming out through September. Go over their rules, go over the gear cards that come with them, talk about the design intent behind each one of them, because Riot Quest heroes really are kind of designed with like a MOBA mentality. That's how I approach it.
They all have a job to do. They have the thing they're good at.
Yeah, there's no point values. And so when I designed the game, very much spent a lot of time researching MOBAs and how you make a balanced thing when you don't have any way to, have a point value that says this is more expensive than this. We're going to talk about all that stuff so we can kind of just go over them for those of you who may not have seen them. And then, at the end of the show, we're going to preview the currently in testing War Machine and Hordes rules for the Wolf with No Name. So for those of you that are here for War Machine and Hordes content, we will give you a preview of what that boy do. But first off, hi.
Hi. Didn't we already say hi?
I'm Will Hungerford, and I'm the lead developer at Privateer Press. And with me is my partner and boss, Schoonover, who is pointing down at, we know there's been a lot of questions if the pigs are still here. We have Pig
I wasn't
Cam.
pointing at the pigs. I was pointing at my name, but
yes. We have Hamilton,
yeah,
the pig with no name, and Kevin. I love Kevin's position back here, by the way.
Yeah, he's peeking. Kevin could be in every shot.
Now,
you never know.
Yeah, I want to show y'all something real fast. Tony, go back to the pig cam real fast. So we just move this out of the way, So this is what Kevin looks like. You can see Kevin, right?
Now you can see Kevin for now.
Tony, go back to the regular camera. What is going on?
Kevin's a magic pig.
This is amazing.
Yeah. So
it's like a hidden object game.
So like you might not know Kevin's even around, and then suddenly you got Kevin, and Kevin's like, look, it's Bamfist.
Yeah. So yeah, Kevin is often hiding on the stream. So if you ever don't see one of the pigs, know that Kevin's around.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Kevin's always here.
So before we get into things, let's talk about news and announcements. First off, let's talk about Mini Crate. So right now, the War Machine and Hordes Mini Crate is the shield sister of the Order of the Wall.
It's a beefy name, but it's an awesome mini.
Beefy name, beefy mini. And Paladins are one of the most popular. Like people buy them not just for War Machine and Hordes, they buy them for RPGs too. So this is a sweet looking female Paladin. I think she looks great. And the VIP model is Bride of Arcadius, and we're almost out of time on both of these. You have till August 19th, so 5 days left for both of them. So if you're wanting to get the Shield Sister, really, honestly, you should get it now. And if you were thinking about Bride of Arcadius, you got 5 days left to pick him up. For the L5R line, Doji Hataro is the current model. That's still good till September 5th.
Yeah.
And Sadako is the current VIP model, and that one's going to be good for quite some time because that changed over, I think, I want to say 2 months ago.
Something like that.
Now, in the Savage Mini Crate line, super exciting. The second model in the main line is now out. You can pick him up, Solomon Kane, which is one of Robert E. Howard's main characters, right?
Yeah, that one just rotated out 2 days ago.
Right.
So we're at the beginning of a cycle for Solomon Kane.
And I mean, it's Conan, King Krull, Solomon Kane. We're like Robert E. Howard's 3 main protagonists. And I was actually just reading some Solomon Kane the other day, and it's just, this is such an iconic character. And I think like if you're going to join any month, this month is fantastic. If you do the VIP, you get Solomon Kane and King Conan. You basically get 2 of the biggest characters.
Yeah.
Did King Krull ever have a movie made about him? I mean, Solomon Kane did, and Conan definitely did.
I think there is a Krull movie. I think it's got the Hercules guy, Kevin
Sorbo?
I think that there's a Kevin Sorbo movie of Krull. I think.
Okay. Well,
not Krull like the Glaive movie from the '80s is one of my favorite movies of all time, but Krull that character. I believe there's like a B movie or a G movie or something.
Well, there's definitely a Conan movie. There's definitely a Solomon Kane movie. They're easily like I think his 2 most well-known characters. So this is a great month to join in.
Yeah.
Of course, if you ever want to watch us streaming, by the way, we stream twice a week, always on Wednesdays and Thursdays. The Dev Hangout, 10 a.m. Pacific. That's some combination of myself, Oz, and Jeff talking about things going on with the game.
Yep.
The games, plural.
Multiple games.
And Thursdays is Get Your Paint On with Jordan Lamb, where he paints the different models. I think he's painting Widget from Riot Quest tomorrow. So that model, if you want to get a look at how to do the wings and her various accoutrements, tune in. And then we have the monthly Staff Showdown. We will be doing the Staff Showdown this week on Friday, and we will be playing a multiplayer game of Riot Quest. I do believe is the plan. So, people asking on stream, where is Jeff? Jeff is out, not feeling super great today.
Yeah, Jeff's a little sick today, so.
I had the sickness yesterday. He has the sickness today. Looks like the con crud from Gen Con sort of mutated and
Yeah, sometimes it
gestated for a
sometimes it
while.
lays dormant for a couple of days/weeks and then erupts
Yeah.
in various ways.
In various ways.
Yeah.
Last thing before we get to today's content, the Monpok My Store contest ends tomorrow. This is your last chance to be able to possibly get your store made into an actual model. So if you want to check it out, you can go to privateerpress.com and read up on the actual contest. Everything you need to do to enter, it's as easy as taking a photo and putting it online with a hashtag. So why not join? You might join at the last second.
You could be the last entry.
At the 11th hour.
And Jeff is in the Facebook chat right now, saying he's homesick.
Yeah. So let's get into it today, shall we?
We should.
What we're talking about again today is, Riot Quest is coming out next week. A lot of people have seen the 5 heroes and the gear in the core box. That's Dreyfus, Bamfist, Eris, Gubbin, and Dez. We've played with those. But there's a whole Wave 1, which is the core box, and then 6 other heroes. Wave 2 starts in October. The first models for that will be the Wolf with No Name, Butcher, and Captain Crawtooth. And so the rules from Gen Con for the Wave 1 models have kind of been floating around here and there, but we wanted to just show them on the stream and then talk about the design intent behind each of one of them and the gear card you pick up in their blister.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a very Riot Quest heavy episode. And then we're going to go through the War Machine rules for the Wolf with No Name at the end of the show. For all you war maniacs, war machiniacs, war mahorders. War mahorders!
Probably shouldn't make up weird community nicknames
I do what I
on
want.
the fly.
I do what I
live.
want.
Anyway,
So-
look at don't talk about it, but look at that. Yes, I'm the hidden elephant comment on the chat right now. That's a good one. We'll talk about that later.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Good talk. War Mahorders. Let's get right into it. So the first model in Wave 1 that has a lot of people talking, and at Gen Con, this was the one that everybody was playing in Iron Arena. Because a lot of people at Gen Con went and bought their models, they built everything, and they were playing Riot Quest in the play area.
Yep.
And everybody was talking about Black Bella.
Well, she's the first fighter.
She's the first fighter.
There's no fighter in the starter box, and right now, with the first 11 models, there's a duplicate of every class. So you get 2 gunners and 2 rogues and 2. But there's only 1 fighter, and she's very impactful in her own way.
So one thing, and I mentioned at the beginning of the show, when I was designing all the heroes in this game, did a lot of research into MOBAs, and you have to understand that, is every character going to be 100% perfectly balanced with every other character, especially without point values? No. But they're pretty close. And some characters just do things way better than others, and some characters are going to be slightly stronger at this, slightly weaker than that. And eventually, once all of Riot Quest comes out, will there be a tier list for heroes? I'm certain of it. Like a fighting game.
Yeah.
Or like anything else, there will be a tier list. And I'm sure Black Bella is going to be very, very high on said tier list. Because Black Bella does a lot of things. First off, she hits like a Mack truck without any gear on her. Just because she has the charge ability, which all fighters have charge, which says if they move before they attack, they get a red die.
And she's fairly fast.
She's speed 6. She's the only speed 6 character in the entire first set of 30 heroes. So by herself, with no other support, she moves up and punches at the 1 action die you spend to attack, 2 blues, and 3 reds. That hits just about anybody. It might super damage constructs, because one thing you'll notice is the second death stat, which is the super damage death stat. All construct models, James, when you see Leadfoot and Treads, anything that's made of basically metal, their super damage stat is 8. So the 3/8, 4/8 is hell for people that are, not wearing heavy armor, but are literally armor.
Yeah.
So she has a chance to super damage people that big. On top of that, she is the only person in the first set of 30 that has a free strike equivalent. The Dirty Fighter rule says that if you're next to her and you try and move away, you roll just a straight power. You don't even roll a hit. You just roll a red die, and they take that much damage. It is a can, not a must. because when you kill somebody this way, you don't earn a scrap card. The scrap cards specifically say you get a VP when you knock someone out with an attack, and Dirty Fighter is not an attack.
Yeah.
Then on top of this, she's 4/5. 4/5 def stat is usually for the more dualisty types, not the super dodgy types like the Gubbins of the world, but the Eris's and Bellas. And she's got sidestep, so if you manage to miss her, she gets to walk somewhere else and then possibly mess someone else over with Dirty Fighter.
Yeah.
So really, really strong model. But what she does is basically kill things. Like, there's no other utility there.
No, not really. Well, she does also prevent models from running around. She can lock models down. So if you have a model that might be your winning piece and it's standing next to her, it's going to be a problem. So she has a little bit of that positioning game that a lot of models in the game have. But you're right, she does just murder people.
Now, the Dirty Fighter has a lot of counterplay to it. It is very strong ability, but first off, it is specifically when an enemy spends a die to move. So anything that lets them move otherwise. Eris, for example, has Swift Hunter that says when she shoots somebody, she can move 3 spaces. So if she shoots Bella while she's next to her and then moves 3 spaces, that doesn't happen. Any place effects like Dreyfus's jump. Or you just have Dez walk up and shoot Black Bella and beat her back and knock her away. So while Dirty Fighter seems really, 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 really strong so far, there is a lot of counterplay. The main thing Bella does is just, you're going to hit what you get into melee with. And that's what she does.
I've seen some confusion about that Dirty Fighter, and it is only if you're in a space adjacent to her and you spend a die to run. It isn't if you started 2 spaces away and moved past her. She doesn't have free strike like that. Some people are confused and they think that if you move out of a space adjacent to her or whatever, she smacks you. But it's only if she's touching you already and you didn't activate to move.
Yeah. So the gear that comes in her blister, and one thing, gear cards that come in blisters are all neutral. So even though the loot duplicator comes with Black Bella, it doesn't mean it can only go on Black Bella. It doesn't mean you can only bring it in a game where you're playing Black Bella. They're purely neutral. So gear cards, you sort of collect heroes and gear cards separately. And it's when you build your crew, you get a number of gear cards in your hand equal to the amount of heroes that you decided to bring. But you get to choose both pools, which heroes you bring and which gear cards you bring. Loot duplicator, cheaper cost gear, and just provides consistency whenever you're opening those chests. An opening chest is the best way to get more gear and also to get really good results. There's really powerful results in the treasure chest that aren't just loot. There's things like heal someone, let you teleport somebody around the field, or get action dice back.
Or pull back one of your discarded gear cards, which is really handy when you've got something like one of the ones we're going to talk about later.
Yeah. So like the loot duplicator is just a way to add a little bit of consistency in what can be a bit of a chaotic game. And I think a lot of the gear, that's what the gear does. The gear helps smooth out some of the RNG, and that's why you choose to take it. Obviously, there's gear pieces that just add straight damage. But does Bella really need something that's going to add straight damage?
You probably don't need to up her damage when there's other models that are mid-tier fighters that could use that extra red die a lot more. The thing I really like about this is with somebody like Widget, it costs 1. So if somebody gets knocked out and like Widget flies over that space and grabs that token, Widget can equip this for 1 coin and can do awesome things.
Yeah, that's the power specialist, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on to the next hero in Wave 1, which Boomhauer has been, in the War Machine and Hordes crowd, I've seen a lot of people talking about how much fun they're having playing this model in their Troll Blood lists and their Minions lists. This is an all-arounder in Riot Quest. He buffs people with the Fell Call ability. He shoots twice. One of the only people that inherently shoots twice. And when you shoot twice, you do have to spend 2 different action die. But if you equip him with a powerful ranged amplifier like the Dematerializer or Bang Rounds, you can cause a lot of chaos. On top of that, if you need to get in melee with somebody, say for example they've got Cloak on them and you can't really get in there to shoot him, or you end up putting the Shard of Wrathrock on him for whatever reason.
That would be appropriate.
Like his gun and his melee weapon, obviously he gets the red die with the chain gun, and he can make 2 shots. But the Great Axe isn't bad.
No, they're very similar math-wise. There's just a little bit more consistency in the gun because of that red die.
You're not going to use it a ton. You're going to use the chain gun 9 out of 10 times. But you never know when you're going to pull the Great Axe out, and it's good to just have solid stats. Aside from that, his def stats are normal. 3/5 is basically your standard unarmored person. And he's on the average speed side at 4, but he does have 4 stamina, which makes him very sticky. And so this is somebody who's going to provide a lot of utility with that buff to the other crew members, and you want to get a piece of gear on him as soon as you can in the game to really maximize his ability to make 2 ranged attacks a turn. I recommend the Dematerializer if you can get it.
Yeah.
His gear card is one of the few gear cards that heals. It gets the Dire Ale.
Well, it heals most of the time.
It heals most of the time. Basically, at the start of the model's activation, you roll 2 power dice and you heal that amount, which
is awesome.
In Riot Quest, you can only ever do 1 or 2 damage at a time. You can never do more than 2 damage. So on someone like Boomhauer, if you put the Dire Ale on him, he gets really hard to get off the table.
Yeah.
You put it on James, somebody has that 8 super damage, very hard to get off the table. The problem is if they ever roll Snake Eyes effectively, they roll 2 blanks on the red die, they pass out drunk and they're knocked out immediately.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of a...
it's a risk.
It's a risk.
But it's not going to happen very often.
It's the equivalent of rolling Snake Eyes,
Yeah.
because there's only 1 miss on each red die.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next Wave 1 model, Gorman the Mad.
This is the model I'm almost done painting. I've almost got 10 models painted.
Yeah.
And my models are going to get used on Friday in the game, even though I'm not going to play. And this, I'm almost done with this guy, and he's really, really interesting, especially the gear he has. It's my favorite.
Yeah, so there's a couple things with him. So we looked at Bella, who's pure, if we're talking MOBA terms, pure carry, like just DPS.
Yeah.
And then you've got Boomhauer, which is sort of like your mid. He kind of does a little bit of everything, right? He can go wherever you want him, help people, or he can just go pure aggro, and he's also got a little bit of a tanky. He's just a solid all-arounder. Gorman is straight debuff. Like, defensively, he's normal, 3-5. That's, again, the unarmored stat for most people. Speed 5, he's a little bit quicker. He's a rogue, so of course he has sneak, so he can move through enemies. And he's only stamina 3, which is the average stamina. He has cloak, so you can't shoot him from more than 2 spaces away, which helps him survive the Dezes, the Boomhowlers, the Scythes.
Yeah.
But his main thing you're bringing him in your crew for is strip.
Yeah, which is really annoying.
The ability to break gear off of somebody is incredibly powerful. When someone does get that Dire Ale on their tanky character, when somebody puts the Shard of Wrathrock on, Butcher, for example, and you need to get off, all Gorman has to do is hit.
Yep.
You don't have to kill him, just walk up and then rip it off. Being able to do that turn to turn is really strong and messes with your opponents because they spend all the time opening chests and getting the loot to then spend it to finally get that 1 piece of gear to really upgrade that character and have them kick into the the next sort of level. And Gorman just ruins all that.
It's one of the things, being at events the entire time at Gen Con and watching people play Riot Quest while I was judging other things, it's really interesting to watch players. They grab a bunch of loot. They have like 4 loot finally. Their turn is about to end, and they equip gear to somebody who's not going to use it right away.
Right.
And then
Gorman's
like, hey, nice gear.
Yeah.
And squirts them and it's gone. So he plays around with gear timing too, because if you've got a thing you want to set up, like the Butcher with the Shard or Crawtooth with the telescoping blades or whatever, you're not going to want to do it before you activate that model
because
if Gorman's around, because then it might just go to waste.
And then you look at things like, we just looked at the Dire Ale on Boomhauer, which is when you activate, you roll the dice to see if you heal. So you don't have a choice, you have to put it on. And that gives Gorman the chance to be able to walk up and knock it off. He comes with what is conceivably one of the most powerful gear cards.
It is my favorite.
In the first set of 30. The Transmutation Elixir, basically, it lets you swap a model out. So when you play this game and you've got your 4 heroes in the arena and you've got your bench and you really need someone else to pop in to take care of things, you need Gorman or Widget to suddenly become the Butcher. You need Eris to suddenly transform into Leadfoot and Treads. You put the Transmutation Elixir on them and then boom, you just hot swap them. Super, super strong ability. And it is a one-use equipment. So you'll see equipment like sometimes that it basically says you do the thing the equipment says you do, and then you break it immediately. This doesn't stick around. These are consumable gears, effectively. And there are effects that do bring gear back from your discard pile back to your hand, usually out of treasure chests. Being able to get a Transmutation Elixir back after you've used it is, again, crazy strong.
Yeah. And this one is a lot of fun, especially if someone is hunting one of your models. Because we had a playtest game where I had the Butcher and there was the bounty for killing someone of the same name and all that stuff. The freaking imposters card. And someone was like, oh, your Butcher's wounded. maybe I can get him with my butcher.
Yeah.
And then I transmuted it into something completely different just to mess around with that interaction.
Yeah.
But also getting that model you want when you want it on the table is really, really important.
Adam Stewart on Facebook says, when you use the elixir, what happens to the dice on the model that used it? The dice remain on the model that used it. So say that you go with a character and they use their dice and then they transmute. They go to the bench and the dice go with them. So the new character comes in fresh who can then be activated on a later turn. There's a lot of application for transmutation. It's one of the trickier pieces of gear, but it has really, really strong application in the game. So let's move on to, I believe Harlow is next. Harlow, if Boomhauer is a total all-arounder, Harlow is your sort of ranged DPS, but he has a bit of versatility. Like being a scout means he automatically has spotter, which is just a good support ability, period. Lowering the defense of all enemies within 2 spaces against range attacks made by people in your crew. Right?
Yep.
Eris has that, all scouts have that. It always means they are to some degree support. However, outside of spotter, Harlow just shoots the hell out of people.
Yeah.
He is ambidextrous. That says when he shoots, you can pick 2 targets, 2 different targets in his range. So he is like Gubbin makes 1 roll.
Yeah.
He hits the person, everyone adjacent to it. Harlow makes 1 roll, but shoots 2 different people. And then Deadeye, he just flat out ignores cover from anybody.
Yeah, and cover is really powerful. There's cover from models supporting you. There's cover on the table. There's gear that gives you cover.
Yeah.
Cover is a blanket ability that always gives you +1 defense, but it comes from different places.
And then we see that Harlow's got a slightly lower defense stat, being the little Rulik guy he is. He's a
pretty easy to
2/5.
shoot.
It's pretty easy to shoot,
Yeah.
but he's going to walk up. Friendly Troll Planner on Twitch says, are those Kane's Spellstorm pistols? They are not. They are Harlow's custom-made Spellstorm pistols, and in Rulik runes on the side of them, they do spell out kiss, kiss, bang, bang. So if you have
I didn't notice that.
if you have the actual runic language we have created long ago for all the different War Machine races, if you look at those runes and decode it on the Rulik one, you'll see that's what they say. Harlow comes with easily the strongest ranged upgrade in the game, the Dematerializer. Costs 4.
Yep.
Gives you 1 red die on your range attacks, and when you hit somebody, you get to teleport them to a random spawn gate.
And which can be amazingly good or bad for you. Because you might be trying to throw someone all the way across the board, but it might not work.
But it's a choice.
Yeah.
You don't have to. So with Harlow, let's say you just buy the Harlow blister. Applications with the core box. You could put it on Harlow, so you can walk up, shoot 2 different people. That means he's rolling 3 blue and 1 red. He's probably going to hit most people, and then you could bounce 2 of them. Put it on Gubbin. Gubbin walks up to a brick of people, and he's like, everyone to Narnia.
Yeah.
They all teleport to different ends of the map. You can just walk
Unless
up.
they all go to the same place. It's random.
And they could all go to the same place.
Yeah.
But when you've got a clump of people scrumming in the middle of the arena, especially they say they're fighting over like the cortex, they're
Yep.
fighting over the death trap, whoever knows, like people are congregating towards one of the bounties, and you've got a Gubbin and you drop the Dematerializer on them. You just walk up and be like, all right, everybody, calm down.
break this up.
Everybody to your corners.
Yeah.
The thing is, you choose where they get placed. So when you
Yeah.
roll the spawn gate, doesn't mean you have to put them on the closest point. You can put them on the
Yep.
far end of the spawn gate. So you can really put people out of the way. And as more maps come out and spawn gates get put in all kinds of different positions, the Dematerializer will continue to have sort of different application
Yeah.
based on the map you're playing.
Yeah, and when that pirate ship map comes out and has those choke points, if there is an important model like body blocking, just gangplank, you can open that right up with this weapon.
It's basically super bang rounds. Instead of just being like, I push you a couple spaces, it's like, I just send you away.
Yeah, but it is fairly expensive. I don't remember.
I love how much chat loves Gubbin, by the way. I see a lot of
Gubbin is one of the best models.
Gubbin is pretty hilarious. I mean, he dies.
Weapon is called too many explosives.
He dies basically instantaneously. And Firehawk's asked about, will the gear card at Gen Con be given out? We'll talk about that at the actual end of all this.
Yeah,
So we are gonna cover the gear card at Gen Con. Let's go on to the next Wave 1 model. This is the one many of you have seen. In fact, you probably already have your card, so we'll go over this one fast. James. Couple things to cover with James. First off, like any construct, she has an 8 super damage stat, meaning she's really hard to ever get 2 damage on. She provides cover to nearby friendlies like all guards do, but her main thing is the bodyguard spring blades combo.
Yep.
So Bodyguard says if she's standing next to somebody and you hit that friendly, she can take the hit instead. So on a ranged attack, she just takes the hit. Cool. On a melee attack, regardless of range, she takes the hit for the melee attack, and then Spring Blades say after she's hit by a melee attack, she does 1 point of damage back. So say you have a Crawtooth with telescoping blades making a melee attack from 5 squares away, and he hits your gubbin, and your James is standing next to your gubbin. Well, instead he hits James, and after he pulls her a couple spaces, he takes a point of damage because he hit her with melee period, because the range on Spring Blades is global. Just did you get hit by melee? And that's a fun little combo you can pull off. Michael Johnson's asking on Facebook, can you have multiple copies of a gear card in one game? Each player's crew can't have any duplicate heroes, and each player's gear hand can't have any duplicate gear cards. The gear cards, so y'all know, in my head, the way I kind of went about, they're the shop in a MOBA, right? They're the list of upgrades that after you've gotten some loot and your guys die and you're respawning that you get to buy. So you're kind of building the shop in your hand of what kind of swords and armor and stuff you're end up gonna find. Now she comes with the telescoping blades. I think so far the most popular melee upgrade that people have seen, not just for the power die, but for the extra 2 range on melee attacks.
Now it's great to make someone a fighter with Shard of Rathrock. Because then you can open treasure chests that are fighter specific and you get the charge ability. But sometimes you can't get to somebody with your normal speed. So having the extra range, especially on Crawtooth, because we always talk about that. Crawtooth is base 3 for melee range, so he's a 5 with this. It's ridiculous. It's going to be one of those really popular cards, but also, like we talked about, fighting is not the only way to win this game. Like, just going around, like Bella is super powerful at killing people, but she can never kill somebody unless they have 2 hit points by herself in one go. And the game throws a bunch of bounties at you that have nothing to do with fighting. So you can be a really, really powerful fighter and never score any points if the game just works out that way. Unless you're finishing people off.
Winning by just killing people is, and I mean literally only killing people and getting scrap cards. I have not seen anyone ever do it.
It would be very, very difficult, especially in a multiplayer game.
Adam Mori on Facebook says, where do I get her Riot gear and gear card if I don't have one? So if you got her with the Kickstarter, James, and you didn't receive your cards, email our customer service team at frontdesk@privateerpress.com and they will take care of you. Otherwise, when you buy any Riot Quest model, they come with their hero and gear card in the blister. If you ever get a blister that's missing the cards, frontdesk@privateerpress.com. And let's move on to the last model in Wave 1, outside of the core box, which is Widget. Now, you want to talk about support. Widget is pure support. Speed 5, low def stat of 2.5, and then stamina 3. She has flight, which says if someone makes a melee attack against her and they don't have flight, she becomes a 4/7.
And there's nobody else with flight at the moment.
Currently, there's also no gear that gives you flight yet as well. Now, if you put her in cover, that stacks. So say she's standing next to a friendly Dreyfus, or she's just standing in cover. Then she goes from a 4/7 against melee to a 5/8. And suddenly she becomes literally the hardest thing in the game to hit. So shoot Widget is the answer. You have to shoot her out of the sky. Like all specialists, she has Tinker. She lowers the cost of all loot attached to her or friendly adjacents by 2 to a minimum of 1. Makes these 4-cost loot cards really great. But she is Engineer, which is that her and all friendly adjacents reroll any number of the blue die when making rig actions. Rig actions are the actions in the game like plant the bomb, fix the turret, fix this. These are the bounty cards. Bounty cards will flip over and they'll say, put a token on this spawn gate. This spawn gate's malfunctioning and sparking. You have to go make a rig test to fix it. And a rig test is always 3 blue dice. If you hit 3 or more successes, you do it. And there's a way to get a red die if you meet a certain requirement. Being able to re-roll all the blue die or any number of the blue die when you make a rig test basically means you will succeed your rig tests.
When it comes to models like being awesome at jobs, if you look at how killy Bella is, then Widget is just as powerful when it comes to scenario play.
Yes, and she is the Bella of bounties. Is the best way to put it. And again, that was that sort of MOBA style, let's make sure every character does something really, really well, or they're a solid all-rounder, because being all-around viable is a strength of its own, right? Because if you go too specialized, sometimes you can get really screwed over depending on the team you're fighting, right? So it's good to have all-purpose people. Widget, she has a wrench. She bops people with it.
And it's just as good as Boomhauer's axe.
Yeah, but she doesn't have that. Like most characters that have just a weapon, it doesn't have any abilities. You have 3 blue dice. Like she can bop people if she has to.
Yeah.
That is effectively the lowest stats you're going to see. There are other weapons like Dreyfus's Blast is range 2, 2 blues, but that's because he has a range 1, 4 blue flanking melee attack.
Yeah.
Right. He just has a backup gun if he can't get to somebody. So for support characters, you'll often see this stat line of range 1, 3 blue because, you know, that's not really what Widget's about.
Yeah.
She's supposed to get up there and help you win by scenario.
Yeah.
She comes with another very potent piece of gear, the Translocator. It only costs 2, and it says when you run, you spin the die to run, but before you actually move into your spaces, you teleport to a random spawn gate.
This can be the best thing ever.
Or the worst.
If it works out perfectly. Because if you have a model somewhere randomly on the board, and there's a treasure chest and a bounty like all the way across the board, and you can score both of them and win the game maybe, this might put you exactly where you need to go, or it might just like fizzle out and you might like just respawn right where you're at, kind of thing.
So Alec is asking, what is Widget's backstory? So Widget is the Tinker Extraordinaire. Her full name is Widget Tinker Extraordinaire. She, in the Riot Quest timeline, is one of the good guys. She's a teenager, if I'm not mistaken, and she basically has an extreme aptitude for building stuff out of just junk. And so she has survived purely on her engineering talent and her sort of wit, and by building these wings, because she knows a lot of people weren't flying around.
Yeah.
So the first thing she did was she built her way to escape and ways to like swoop in, go in, loot stuff, and get away without being punched by the Crawtooths and the Butchers of the world. So she flies around, but her main thing is that she's just making her way in the world, hooking up with crews that help her get the best loot. Unlike Bella, who is, backstory-wise, one of the meanest characters.
Yeah.
Widget is the closest thing to like, if this was a Saturday morning cartoon, Widget would be on the hero team. She would be in the intro. She'd stop by, she'd smile and hold a wrench up, and like maybe her name would pop up in giant yellow letters. And like Widget would show up. She's not even comic relief. That's gubbin. Like Widget would show up and you'd be like, Widget, the Widget mobile broke down, fix it. And then she'd get in there and fix it. Widget, Infernals came back, run. And she'd be like, I'll fix it.
Yeah.
So that's Widget. Ponto Hornblower says, why does she have flight? Because she hates sand.
There's some.
Is she literally Anakin Skywalker?
Someone already mentioned Anakin Skywalker in there.
No,
but no,
we're not going to make a Darth Widget, you sickos.
No, Widget's story stays happy and positive the whole time.
Yeah, she's a good character. Now, a lot of people were asking about the promo card. So at Gen Con, if you participated in a demo, you received the Dark Sniffer. So a couple things. What is a sniffer? If you look at Bamfist, he's holding up that weird ball in his hand. Bamfist made the sniffer ball. And what the sniffer ball does is it flies out and it searches areas and it scans them. Think like the balls from Phantasm.
Except in a nice way.
In a nice way. Well, we're getting to that.
I know.
It's like the balls from, it flies around and it scans stuff. And what it does is it finds areas that are laden with loot and gear and supplies and things they want to go get. And then it comes back and it tells Bamfist where they're at. Well, the sniffer he's using is not the first one. He tried a few other ones and they got away. So there's actually going to be 3 promo sniffers available in different ways. And the first one is the Dark Sniffer. It's the evil sniffer.
Of course, look at it.
If you see in the reflection of its lens, it's looking down at Gubbin as he's opening a treasure chest, and it's just going to be like, I'm going to get you, boy. So all sniffer cards share something. When you open a treasure chest, you roll a red die instead of a blue die for better results. All 3 of the sniffers have that.
They're all good at helping you find loot.
They're all good at helping you find loot, but each of them has something unique at the front. And the Dark Sniffer specifically mess with your opponents. It makes treasure chests within 2 spaces of the hero equipped cost an extra die for your enemies to open the treasure chest. So it basically gets in the way.
Yeah.
There's going to be the Speedy Sniffer, and I wanted to call him the Chunky Sniffer, but they wouldn't let me, so it's the Greedy Sniffer.
Who is they?
They.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to figure out a way to make a Chunky Sniffer one day,
with
but the Greedy Sniffer and the Speedy Sniffer. So this was available as a promo at Gen Con if you demoed. It will be available as a promo at Warfare Weekend if you demo. Also, if your local store wants to run Riot Quest events, there's 2 different ways. There's going to be the Throwdown Organized Play kit. That's what comes with the Bling Gubbin model, the special sculpt. That's what comes with the foil cards. And that's for like multi-round events. Like when you want to have, they're not tournaments, but when you want to play several rounds and then hand out some prizes and have like winners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But stores also do things like launch parties, demo days, charity events. Anything that is not a multi-round traditional event that a store might be doing, they can contact us and we will send them some promo cards to hand out. The Dark Sniffer is the first of 3. These will not be available in blisters. You will not be able to buy these. They are only available for free for doing cool things with your community or participating at a convention. So if you want these gear cards, you need to go snag one. And if you want one in your local store, tell your local store to contact us, front desk at privateerpress.com. Let us know what event they want to run, demo day, launch party, whatever. And we'll send them a handful of these Dark Sniffer cards to give out. And then when the Greedy Sniffer and the Speedy Sniffer come out, we'll show those here as well. Chonky Sniffer.
So chunky.
So that's all the Riot Quest stuff we want to talk about today. And mainly, again, we just wanted to sort of let people know the roles of these different heroes.
Yeah.
I think if you buy a core box and like 1 or 2 of these and you face off with your buddy that plays with a core box and 1 or 2 of these, you're good to go. Also, what a lot of people did is they bought a core box and then all 6 of Heroes of Wave 1. And then instead of using the action die to put on their cards, they used dice or token, or like beads or coins as their action dice. They played the game normally. That way them and their opponent could share the dice pool without having to buy a second core box. And that way you could still play the game with those 11. You just split it up between yourselves. I've seen a lot of the community talking about, Throwdown's going to introduce a lot of different formats and ways to build crews. And the community has already been saying like, oh, this is how I want to play Riot Quest. This is how I want to play Riot Quest. One of the coolest things somebody said is, I'm going to buy all of it for me and my friends. I'm just going to have the full collection of all 30 heroes. And when we play, what we're going to do is I'll set it down in front of everybody and we're just going to draft. And we're just going to draft heroes. And I think I would love to do that as events, but as an official event, that requires somebody at every store to own everything, and I can't do that. But for those of you so inclined to play this like a board game, it's a really good way to approach it for people that just want to try it out. And I think that's really exciting.
Firehawk is asking about extra dice. We do sell Monster Apocalypse dice sets, which are the full 26 dice you need to play Monster Apocalypse. But these are the same dice as that game.
Yep.
So if you have Monster Apocalypse dice sitting around, then you can play Riot Quest with those dice too.
So before we get to questions at the end, we did say we were going to show off some more Machine and Horde stuff. So before we bring the rules up, in Wave 2, the first models of Wave 2 are Orsus the Chained, Captain Crawtooth, and the Wolf with No Name. The Wolf with No Name is a warp-born bounty hunter. So he has the sort of Clint Eastwood hat, and he has a giant pig iron rifle that he's using.
A really big rifle.
So in Riot Quest, he's a scout.
Yeah.
He's particularly good at hurting people that are already damaged, and he can ignore terrain to sort of walk through it.
Yeah.
When I was designing his War Machine and Hordes rules, I wanted to keep the same flavor. I wanted him to be a bounty hunter that was particularly good at hunting down certain people, but one thing you're going to end up seeing repeated on some of the War Machine and Hordes rules for the Riot Quest models, at least the ones I wrote, is loot tokens.
Yeah.
It's a mechanic that basically, it's called Money is Power, and it says you can spend loot tokens to boost attack or damage rolls, but then each person that has Money is Power has a different way of getting loot tokens. For example, Dez says if she begins her activation dug in, she has buried treasures, the name of the rule, she just gains a loot token. So let's take a look at the Wolf with No Name and how he does so. So, first off, he's only 4 points. Disclaimer. Tony, put it back on me real fast before we talk about the rules. Disclaimer. This is in playtest.
Yeah.
Rules are subject to change. All right, Tony, let's go back. So, Minion Skinwalker Solo, who is Partisan Circle, 8 damage boxes because he's a Skinwalker. 4 points. We see that he's Mat 6, Rat 6, but he has Prey and he has a boost mechanic. He also has Finisher. So if he hits somebody who's damaged, he basically gets Weapon Master. He's got Hyper Regeneration. Money's Power is the way he gets the loot, or that he can spend loot tokens. He has Prey, and then he has Wanted. And Wanted says every time he hits one of his Prey targets, he gains a loot token. This is upon hit, not damage. So you can shoot somebody, hit, gain the loot token, and then immediately spend the loot token to boost the damage. At which point, if you're hitting your prey, you're talking about a boosted POW 14, and if they were hurt, you're talking about a boosted Weapon Master POW 14. Obviously, he has AED and Pathfinder, keeping with sort of, the circle theme. But for 4 points, this is a hell of a combat solo.
Yeah.
And he can do a ton of damage. Are you going to put the prey on units, single wound infantry units, to be able to gain a bunch of loot tokens? Or do you want to put it, like say you put it on Man of War.
Yeah.
You walk up to a Man of War shock trooper who's got a point of damage on him, right? And then you shoot him, gain the loot token, spend it. You're now making a POW 14, if that's your prey, POW 14 4 dice damage roll against him. And I think that's where the wolf is going to kind of shine the most. Also, he can just charge in with finisher of Popular Strength 10 and get 4 dice attacks, right?
Yeah.
If it's the prey, it's 12.
That knife is not a throwaway on this guy with the combo abilities he has.
Yeah. So this is what we're currently testing. Low point value, high impact combat solo that requires a little bit of setup. You definitely want to be targeting your prey with them, and it definitely helps if your prey is damaged. And if you're preying something that has multiple boxes, Wolf can get a lot of work done there. On top of that, he's got 8 damage boxes and he's got hyper regeneration. So keep him in the midline. Don't run him out there in front of everybody. He'll be good to go. Let's go over some questions.
What wave is Scythe? You keep mentioning Scythe.
Scythe is
someone.
Scythe is either end of wave 2 or beginning of wave 3. She is also in Riot Quest the only base range 5 model.
Yeah.
She's a sniper. She will hit you from wherever the hell she wants to hit you from on the board. Striker 911 talking about the Wolf's War Machine rule says he's going to be very good, but definitely needs to be protected. And Zombie Dude saying 4 points, crazy. Yep, he is very good for 4 points.
But like we said, we're still playtesting, so that elements of that might get adjusted.
Oswald Dog says hard hitting question: what event causes Widget to drift to the dark side? Again, Riot Quest is Saturday morning cartoon apocalypse. Some characters are always just good. Did Tila ever go evil in the He-Man cartoon? No, maybe in the comic book, but not the cartoon. Did Orko ever just start ripping people in half? No, of course not. Did Mumra ever become a good guy? Not once.
Maybe. On a long enough timeline, everybody can be a little changed.
Did Duke ever do anything? Did Duke ever actually shoot anybody? Not even in the movie.
No
Duke
one
got stuck
shot.
in the chest with a snake by Serpentor.
Nobody ever shot anybody.
It was all like, Cobra la 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 la. And just, I hit that right in the mic. Rip headphone users.
Yeah.
Widget will never go evil.
Unless she does.
Unless she does. Seanster 3000, wasn't there a Destructotron 3000? Yeah, Destructotron 3000 should be in Wave 2. Destructotron 3000 is to gunners what Bella is to fighters. Leadfoot works for mercs or just minions. I believe he is a minion partisan. Oh, he's definitely a minion partisan Trollblood. I don't think he works for mercenaries. I don't have my rules in front of me. I think he's minion only, if I'm not mistaken. Adrian R. Brown, where can I find the fluff behind these characters? We are attempting to get some of that fluff up on the Riot Quest website. By the way, if you ever want to learn more about Riot Quest and how to play, RiotQuest.com has everything you need. You can go see all the Wave 1 models, except for Bella. We're waiting for the painted Bella model to get up there. But the full 13-minute tutorial, teach you the whole game, is available. And as waves get updated, you will see new Wave models pop up there. So you see all of Wave 1 minus Bella, and the full rulebook is available for PDF. But hopefully in time, as the website continues to evolve, we'll be able to add the character bios on there.
And the rulebook does have fluff in it for the starter box characters.
Jason Bauer says, what wave is Helga? Helga's like wave 4. She is definitely towards the end. Runtime. Are all Riot Quest models going to be characters where some have FA more than C? Well, Leadfoot and Treads are a good example. So the Leadfoot and Treads model, you can build it with the hatch open and the pig with the general hat sticking out pointing, because that's Leadfoot. That's General Leadfoot himself.
Yeah.
If you build it that way, that is General Leadfoot. It's just how you should play it in Riot Quest. If you build it with the hatch down, then you can't see you see the gunner's face, but you don't see any characters. And that will be the generic pig tank that you can also play in War Machine and Hordes that are also going to be a minion, partisan, troll blood. So pig tank will be the first one that is available as FA character, non-character, but it is an exception. Most of them are going to be characters.
Yeah.
Tony has written up on the screen, there was an earlier question about Protectorate models in Riot Quest.
I was going to bring that up. Somebody asked, have we heard anything about Protectorate in Riot Quest?
Fiora 4.
Yeah.
Fiora the Forsaken. My favorite thing about Fiora the Forsaken is the first time we get to see Fiora unmasked, and she's wielding a flaming chainsaw.
Yeah, flaming chainsaws are just good all the way around.
Her backstory is that so Riot Quest is post-apocalypse, the Infernals came, they won, they took everybody, they left, there's only a handful of survivors. Fiora sort of views this as the Rapture. And now the Protectorate, this thing that she's been scheming and fighting over for so long to take control and become Hierarch, it's all gone. Her whole life, everything that she's fought for is gone.
Her schemings are all
there's nothing to control anymore. And worse than that, all of the faithful are just gone. Like everyone left. And for her it was the Rapture, and she's left behind. So she thought that she was going to die gloriously in battle and meet Minoth on the other side. Instead, she survived, and now she's sitting here by herself. So she's in her Warcaster armor, in like a ceremonial garb, like ready to go to the afterlife, but didn't make it. The mask is off. When y'all see the model, this is the angriest looking female model we have ever made. Like, she just looks like rage incarnate. She also has a flaming chainsaw because those are cool.
Yeah.
Runewise says, I have to paint a face. Yes, you have to paint a face.
Faces are easy to paint. Just don't worry about the eyes.
Juris Aquitus says, is there going to be a rules forum to ask questions about Riot Quest rules interactions? At the moment, there's not one on the forums, but my recommendation for the time being, for everyone out there, you can post to our Facebook. There is a Riot Quest general Facebook group. We've been getting a ton of people joining it. Join in. I'm very active on it. Travis Marga, a.k.a. Dank Legacy, is very active on it. Ask your questions there. We're very happy to answer. Also, a Riot Quest subreddit was recently created by a member of the community. It just started, so it's like at 50 members right now, but growing. Go any of those places. We're monitoring them. We're keeping an eye on them, and we'd be happy to answer questions as they come up. We got time for a couple more questions, then it's lunchtime, so let's see what else we want to answer. You see anything else up there you want to get?
I don't remember what class the Horsemans are.
Horsemans are a fighter. Hellkips, are there any Lely's models in the works for Riot Quest? I believe Gorman's Lely's, isn't he? His War Machine rules?
I believe we added the Lely's tag to him at some point.
If I'm not mistaken.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Ribjaw Rider Win, Wave 3, and his name is Master Gurglepox.
Yeah.
Steve Hall says, Will or Oz, have either of you or will you design a Riot Quest hero that represents you?
I won't.
I'll make a you. They gave me, like, Oz is lead on all things Monpok, and I'm lead on all things Riot Quest. So, like, all the rules for Riot Quest and all the rules for the War Machine rules for Riot Quest models, I do. And Oz does all the rules for all the Monpok monsters and units and the maps and buildings and all that cool stuff. So, if anything, we might start a war where I make a model of Oz, and then you make a satirical building of me, but we don't want to go down that road.
If you, when you do Oz, his special ability has to be Judgmental Glare.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chuck Dogwood win. Chuck Dogwood should be in Wave 3. Should be in Wave 3. And Sean Sir says, is Destructotron partisan convergence? He is. He is. Do you see any other ones you want to hit up?
Not really. Most of them have been either answered or are weird questions we're not going to talk about.
Cool. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to us talk about Riot Quest and going over the Wolf with the No Names rules. Join Jordan tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific because he's doing the Get Your Paint On with Widget, who awesome, great looking model. And he's going to show you how to paint her, work on those wings, work on some of the. She has a lot going on, like in terms of like straps and belts.
She's also got stripy pants, which is something I'm not going to paint mine to have. Because stripes are hard. That
one is a little rough to do. So watch Jordan do it, and he'll help you out. And then Friday we are going to be having our monthly battle here on the stream at 10 a.m. Pacific. We're going to have a multiplayer game of Riot Quest. So if you want to come watch a big free for all chaos fest of Riot Quest, join us then. until next time, we will see you all later. Have a good day. Take it easy. Goodbye.
How was that? How did you squeak the pig in the weird way again?
Like that, from the bottom. There you go.
Oh, you have to do it right in the middle.
Yeah.
Or just, it doesn't.